by coming to our County Council meeting. Thanks to our County Council members who are here tonight and for your service, to our appointed, not appointed, but to the persons who report directly to council, our administrator, clerk, our attorney, and our auditor, internal auditor, wherever he may be, and to all staff who are here tonight. We are ready to begin our public hearings. 1A, ZREZ 0725001666, Ladson Road rezoning.
Charleston County Council will hold a public hearing on the matter the chairman just discussed at 6:30 p.m. on October 14th, 2025 in council chambers.
Okay, this is a request to rezone a parcel from the industrial zoning district to the community commercial zoning district. The property is in the north area. It's along Ladson Road. It's 7.7 acres inside, and it is in Councilmember Pryor's district. The subject property has been zoned industrial since 2001. There have not been any previous rezoning requests for the property, and it is undeveloped. This map is the county's future land use map, and it shows the location of the subject property. This is a zoom-in of the future land use map. The subject property is outlined in blue. It is recommended for the industrial future land use. The properties that are in purple to the west of it are also in the same future land use category, and the properties that are in red are recommended for commercial future land use. This is the current zoning map. The properties surrounding it that are in purple are in the industrial zoning district. Those that are in red are in the community commercial zoning district, and there's one pink one that is to the west of it that is in the general office district. The uses in the area, there are a couple of churches, there is gas station, there's also a fast food restaurant. There are some properties that are across Ladson Road that are in the city of North Charleston, and they are in the light industrial and general business zoning districts. All of the properties in this area are in the flood zone X. This is an aerial looking to the north towards Highway 78 and looking to the south towards Ladson Road. These are some photos of the site, which is undeveloped. The photo on the left here shows the adjacent parcel off of College Park Road, which contains a church, and the other photo is of the adjacent parcel off of Ladson Road. The photos on the left-hand side of this slide are the properties across College Park Road, and the property that is across Ladson Road is shown on the right. This is a comparison of the land uses between the existing industrial zoning district and the requested community commercial district. The main difference between the districts is that the requested zoning district does not allow the heavier industrial and manufacturing and production uses that the existing district does. Staff found the application to be consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with development in the area. Therefore, we recommended approval. At their September meeting, the Planning Commission also recommended approval by a vote of 9-0. Prior to that meeting, we had received no public input. 2 folks came to the meeting and spoke with some general comments and questions, and we have not received any public input for tonight's public hearing, and all meetings have been noticed as required.
Thank you so much. Anyone signed up?
No.
All right, 1B, yes.
What are they planning and proposing for this property?
Sure. So the parcels to the north that used to contain a gas station, our understanding is they want to, their zone community commercial, they want to combine the properties, so they need to change the zoning to community commercial to be able to combine them and at least do part of that property as another gas station. They need the extra land to do stormwater control.
Is this on the corner of Ladson and
Yeah, let me pull this one back up.
okay. That's Ladson and which is in 78, right?
Why does it stuck?
That's the Parker's. That's the Parker's gas station.
I think it's closer to the school.
No. That's behind that in the wooded area. Yeah, I know this idea.
There we go. Thanks. Yep. Here I can show you.
Right.
Yep. So you can. Let's make this bigger.
Okay.
So the properties up at the corner of College Park and Highway 78, on the left of that intersection, they previously contained a gas station that had been torn down.
Yep.
And so They want to combine those properties with the subject property. And in order to do so, they all have to be in the same zoning district. So that's why they're requesting the CC. And then they want to redevelop another gas station, but they need extra land for the size of the gas station.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right, Vice Chair Kabrowski asked me previous to before the start of this meeting if he could ask questions during the public hearing. Since Mr. Pryor has taken liberty to ask questions, Vice Chair Kabrowski, I'm not certain if this was the hearing that you were referring to, or you're asking, you want to ask questions at some other time.
It was not for this one.
Okay, thank you so much, because I told him no, and so I don't want to, yeah.
During public hearings, council does have the right to ask questions.
All right, well,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
he
only
asked
doing,
me.
now doing public comments, we don't.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to clarify that because I told him something different. All right, 1B, 10-mile overlay zoning district, 10M-0.
Thank you very much.
Charleston County Council will hold a public hearing on proposed amendments to the Charleston County Comprehensive Plan and Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance to adopt the 10-mile community overlay zoning district.
All right. So the 10-mile historic district was adopted in June of 2022. Conversations about a possible community overlay began during that process. Starting in the beginning of 2023, staff met with the town of Mount Pleasant and began initial community outreach. In February 2024, County Council voted to rezone the urban-suburban area of the 10-mile community from R4 to S3, with the awareness that the community was working with staff on further customizing the zoning designations for 10-mile. In July of 2024, County Council passed a temporary 24-month moratorium on major subdivisions within historic districts. Throughout 2024 and the first half of 2025, staff held additional community meetings, as well as meetings with any stakeholders as requested. At the onset of the overlay zoning district process, the vocal majority expressed a desire to further decrease the density in the urban-suburban area from 3 to 2 dwelling units per acre. That quickly shifted to retaining the 3 dwelling units per acre with some subtle customizations to other dimensional standards. During those conversations, some residents stated they wanted to see the S3 zoning expanded to the rural area as well. Staff explained that within the rural residential future land use designation of the comprehensive plan, the highest density staff could support in this area would be 1 dwelling unit per acre. At the request of a small majority of the community, the increase in density in the rural area from 1 dwelling unit per 3 acres to 1 dwelling unit per acre was incorporated into the draft overlay in December of last year and reaffirmed by a small majority during several community meetings, with the final being on July 12th of this year. The draft overlay presented today for your review is a reflection of the compromises between the diverse goals of the 10-mile residents. So this slide shows all of the proposed article within the overlay, and we will cover each section in detail. So here is the proposed 10-mile overlay district map. Please note the light purple line is the urban growth boundary, which divides one portion of the 10-mile community within the urban suburban area and another portion in the rural area. In addition to the events and efforts I already covered, 3 other documentations support the creation of the 10-mile overlay. The Town of Mount Pleasant's Settlement Community Task Force's final recommendation stated that future development be consistent with the existing community with low residential densities and compatible building scale and lot coverage, including commercial uses. Also, the 2016 Charleston County Cultural Resources Survey update noted the significance of the 10-mile community for their settlement patterns and social organization. And the Charleston County Cultural Resources element of the comprehensive plan states that settlement areas should be protected from the negative impacts of growth and development. This draft seeks to implement the cultural resources of the comp plan by protecting and promoting the culture of the historic 10-mile community, preserving historic low-density residential development patterns, and reintroducing opportunities for commercial uses in community-identified appropriate locations. Just a few technical items to note. Planned developments within the 10-mile overlay district boundary shall not be subject to the regulations of the overlay. And if there are any conflicts between the regulations set forth in this overlay and the rest of the ZLDR, this document would control. The community identified several uses they would like to see prohibited on all parcels within the 10-mile overlay, and you can see those listed here. Additionally, the community has asked to remove the current 1,500 square foot building size limitation on accessory dwelling units within the rural area. Please note, again, that size limitation only currently exists for the rural area. The overlay doesn't propose anything different than the existing ZLDR requirements for home occupations and temporary uses and structures. So here is the residential portion of the map. The area that you see circled in the lighter tan color is the urban-suburban area, and the area in the darker brown color is the rural area. These are the uses that the community determined to be appropriate for parcels in both areas of the residential. Please note uses that list as C, subject to conditions, and S are subject to special exception approval. Moving on to commercial properties, they're circled here, shown in red. Please note that there are properties within both the urban-suburban area and the rural area. The only difference for those commercial properties would come into play if they were developed strictly residentially, and they would follow either the urban-suburban area or the rural area, depending on their placement for those regulations. And again, here are the uses that the community determined to be appropriate for commercial properties. Moving on to use conditions. All new single-family dwelling detached units within the 10-mile overlay are proposed to be subject to the following use condition. If the minimum requirements set forth in the county's flood ordinance result in a design flood elevation of less than 8 feet, the lowest floor may be elevated to a maximum of 8 feet, provided, however, that increases in the lowest floor elevation may be allowed beyond 8 feet if approved by the BZA through special exception. Recreation and entertainment indoor land uses shall not have vehicular access to adjoining residentially zoned or used properties. They shall not operate between midnight and 11 a.m. and cannot contain indoor shooting ranges. The proposed land use condition for the artisan and craftsman use only differs from those already set forth in the ZLDR in one aspect, that on-site retail sales are allowed, limited to articles of artistic quality or effect, or handmade workmanship produced on the premises. The purpose of this use condition regarding affordable and workforce dwelling units is simply to clarify which standards the parcels in the overlay would follow within the existing ZLDR regulations. So commercial properties in the urban-suburban area would follow R4. Those in the rural area would follow AGR. In the residential urban-suburban area, R4 parcels shall follow the R4 standards, and all other residential properties in this area would follow S3. Rural residential area properties shall follow the AGR standards, and alternative housing types shall be allowed pursuant to special exception approval in the urban-suburban area only. Regarding special events as principal uses, this use condition is just intended to clarify, again, which standards of the existing regulations in Article 6.7, special events of the ZLDR that shall apply. Properties in the urban-suburban area shall follow the NC standards, and properties in the rural area shall follow the RC standards. Moving on to density, intensity, and dimensional standards, they're divided into 3 areas: residential urban-suburban area, residential rural area, and commercial properties. And again, please note here the residential urban-suburban area. The properties that are shown in bright yellow are proposed to retain their current R4 density, intensity, and dimensional standards. So here is the full density, intensity, and dimensional standards table. Understanding that this is very difficult to read, we did break it up into 2 slides. So the first half, this area of the overlay is proposed to have a density of 3 principal dwelling units per acre with a minimum lot area of 12,500 square feet if both water and sewer are available. Proposed minimum lot width is 70 feet, again with both water and sewer. Minimum lot width average is 1 to 5. Minimum setbacks proposed are 25 feet at the front and side, 15 at the interior side, and 25 feet in the rear. Moving on, the proposed maximum building coverage is 20% of the lot, and proposed maximum impervious surface coverage is, building coverage is 20%, impervious surface coverage is 25%. The community proposed a maximum width to depth ratio of 1 to 1.25 for all single-family dwellings. This means that the depth of a home cannot be greater than 1.25 times the street-facing width of the same home. And this proposed ratio would apply to all properties within the residential urban-suburban area, including those designated as R4. And in the draft overlay, the building height's limited to 35 feet. Moving to the rural residential area, those are the properties shown in tan, but again, it does not include those properties shown in blue, which are planned developments. Again, here's that full table. Separating it out for legibility, the proposed density in this area of the overlay is 1 principal dwelling unit per acre with a minimum lot area of 38,500 square feet if both water and sewer are available. The proposed minimum lot width is 70 feet with both water and sewer, and the minimum lot width average is 1 to 5. Proposed minimum setbacks are 25 feet in the front and street side, 15 in the interior, and 25 in the rear. The proposed maximum building coverage is 25% of the lot, and impervious surface coverage is 30%. Again, in this area, there's that same proposed width to depth ratio for single-family dwellings of 1 to 1.25, and the maximum building height of 35 feet. Properties shown in red are proposed to be designated as commercial. So once more, here's that full density, intensity, and dimensional standards table. Separating it out, the proposed maximum density in this area is 2 principal dwelling units per acre for mixed-use occupancy, meaning both residential and commercial development on the same parcel. Please note, if parcels are developed solely with residential uses, they would follow the density, intensity, and dimensional standards for either the residential urban-suburban area or the residential rural area, depending on the property's location. Minimum lot width is 100 feet, and the minimum lot width average is 1 to 5. Proposed minimum setbacks are 25 feet at the front and street, 15 at the interior, and 25 feet in the rear. Minimum distances between structures shall be 20 feet, maximum building height of 35, maximum building coverage of 30% of the lot being proposed, and additionally, no single building shall exceed 5,000 square feet. Now moving on to talk about specific development standards for properties within the overlay, starting with fencing. The draft overlay states that fences shall be measured from natural grade, not placed on berms, and ensure compliance with the vision clearance requirements of the ZLDR. Regarding the storage of vehicles on commercial properties, all vehicle parking and related equipment shall be screened from view. Individuals submitting zoning permit applications for signage shall demonstrate proof of coordination with the 10 Mile Neighborhood Association. The following standards are proposed for freestanding on-premises signage. 1, when on residential properties, maximum area shall be 9 square feet with maximum height of 4 square feet. Non-residential signs are limited to 36 square feet in size and 6 feet in height. And signage for civic and institutional uses, such as churches, are limited to 25 square feet. Pedestrian ways shall be provided in all non-residential development, as well as in subdivisions where 3 or more lots are created. Street names must be placed on reserve with 911 consolidated dispatch, and applications must include proof of coordination from the 10 Mile Neighborhood Association. Gated communities are not permitted within the 10 Mile overlay. The overlay proposes to designate the 10 Mile community as a stormwater special protection area, which might require additional or more strict stormwater design criteria determined on a case-by-case basis by the Public Works Department. Additionally, the draft overlay proposes that traffic impact studies be required if any of the following thresholds are met. 1, 75 cumulative vehicle trips, 2, 4 cumulative vehicle dispensing units or 4 cumulative vehicle charging stations, 3 or more cumulative acres, or 3 or more cumulative dwelling units. It was important to the community that golf carts be included in these traffic counts. All traffic impact studies shall comply with the existing regulations set forth in the ZLDR. Any legal nonconforming water-dependent uses that may exist within the draft overlay boundaries shall follow the existing regulations in the ZLDR. As part of the draft overlay, if a legal nonconforming structure is damaged or destroyed by an act of God, it can be restored as it existed previously if repairs are initiated within 36 months of the date of damage. The terms lowest floor and natural grade are used within the body of the overlay, but are not currently defined in the ZLDR. Therefore, staff is proposing inclusion of these 2 new definitions into Article 12.1, terms and uses defined. These definitions are consistent with those used by FEMA. To complement the proposed amendments to the ZLDR, it is necessary to amend the comprehensive plan to add the 10 Mile Community Overlay Zoning District map and update the future land use designations to reflect the overlay zoning district status. Amendments to the comp plan may be approved if the amendments are consistent with the overall purpose and intent of the plan, as well as if any one of these criteria has been met. The bolded criterion is the one that staff does believe has been met in this situation. Additionally, ZLDR text amendments may be approved if all three of the approval criteria shown here are met. Staff is recommending approval of both the comprehensive plan amendments and the ZLDR text amendments because the draft implements the priority recommendations of the comp plan and fulfills the recommendations set forth in the moratorium ordinance. Planning Commission did recommend approval of the draft at their September 8th meeting. Prior to the Planning Commission meeting, we received 5 general comments, 3 comments in opposition, 5 comments that stated they would support the overlay if some minor amendments were made, and 1 comment requesting deferral. At the Planning Commission meeting, 2 representatives from the 10 Mile Neighborhood Association meeting spoke in support of the overlay, noting they have several minor edits they would like to see incorporated. 2 individuals spoke in general support of the community's efforts, and 2 preservation advocacy groups expressed they would not be able to support the density increases in the rural area. We, of course, noticed that meeting as required. Prior to tonight's public hearing, we received 4 comments in opposition, 3 comments that stated they would support the overlay if proposed edits could be incorporated, and 2 general comments. We, of course, noticed this meeting as required, including the posting of 550 signs throughout the community. And lastly, we have a summary of the zoning changes at the parcel level. Thank you very much.
So, Ms. Piggott, let me just thank you, for the very comprehensive way in which you took us through this 10-mile overlay zoning district hearing. Certainly, from start to finish, there was alignment, coherence, articulation between the ZLDR, the comp plan, in concert with the 10-mile neighborhood association of the things that they contemplated or hoped that would be included here. The clear directive based on the moratorium that something be done, and this became the lever that you all had been working on, saying that it was coming. It's now here, and so certainly by June, they should have achieved at least the thing that will protect them, this overlay district, and I think that they have one more thing that they're working on, the area character appraisal, so that'll be another layer of protection for the community. But thank you so much, because again, even in areas where people who have old eyes, you clearly, let us know, this may be a slide that's not, impossible to read, and then you broke it down by adding 2 or 3 more slides. And so just wanted to say thank you to her. Yes.
Could you please go back to the errors of county council, please?
I'm sorry, sir, which?
There was a slide that stated the errors of county council.
Oh, gotcha. So we did not respond to that. So these are all of the comprehensive plan approval criteria. In order for a staff to recommend approval, only one of these has to be met. So the one that we felt was met was the events, trends, or facts after adoption of the comprehensive plan have changed the character or condition of an area, making the proposed amendment necessary.
Mr. Kowalski?
Well, thank you for your amazing amount of time you put into this and how well the presentation was. To sum it up, there's 3 different designations. There's the urban suburban, which is 1 designation, and that allows 3 units per acre. Then the rural allows 1 unit per acre, and commercial allows 2 units per acre. Is that how I understand it?
That is correct, with the caveat that the 2 dwelling units per acre on the commercial properties is for mixed use.
And then, does anything in the proposal allow for increased density that does not exist now? And if so, could you explain where that is and how that would be?
So this draft does propose an increase in density in properties that are currently in the rural area, zoned RR, which allows for a density of 1 dwelling unit per 3 acres. So the density proposed in this draft is 1 dwelling unit per acre.
I would just notice that would be a really dramatic increase. I mean, from somebody who's been up and down that thousands of times, and you multiply that by acres, you'd be transforming a rural area into something not so rural area, and the amount of traffic leading up to that area is almost unsupportable now. And that increase would be a concern of mine, that we're here to maintain the rural area. But I mean, you did a great job and all the time and input, but it is in my district, and we have traffic problems now, and to preserve the rural nature of that area is very fragile. And that's from my perspective, a very dramatic increase. And not just on 1 acre, but as you multiply that, that's really a dramatic increase. Thank you.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Kabrowski, I would agree with you 99% of the time on that. But Ms. Pickett, wasn't a survey was done basically, and didn't a majority of the folks support the 1 dwelling unit per acre?
The majority of folks that we heard from throughout the public process, yes, sir.
One of the reasons given that they wanted to be able to subdivide their property for heirs and
Yes, sir.
children and so forth to be able to build. Thank you.
Mr. Moody?
Middleton. Ms. Pickett, thank you for that, and I enjoyed that article in the Post and Courier the other day.
Thank you, sir.
A couple quick questions. There's a portion of this that's outside of the urban growth boundary, is that correct?
That's correct. That's
Can
the
you
portion circled here.
Which one? Oh, both?
Both areas, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Is that what the preservation groups have got a problem with?
They
In your opinion?
They expressed that they
Okay.
would not be able to support the density increases in these areas, yes, sir.
Homeowners in any of the areas requested to be opted out of this program?
No.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else? Thank you very much. 1C, discharge of firearms. in-
Sorry, we have people that signed up to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we did not. Thank you.
We have 12 people that came tonight for it, and 4 people want to speak. The first person's Ed Pinkney, followed by James Black.
Thank you so much. I do apologize. You just give your name. You do not have to give your address.
Thank you, sir. So good evening, council members. My name is Edward Pinkney. First, I would like all those in attendance supporting the 10 Mile community who came out tonight to stand. Thank you all. Let's see. Thank you all for coming. I'm here representing the residents of the 10 Mile community. Our community strongly supports the adoption of the 10 Mile overlay. We believe this measure is essential to preserving the character, history, and lineage of our community while providing a clear framework for responsible growth. Since the initial planning meeting, we've continued engaging with our residents. One important amendment regarding the future subdivision and growth requirements was brought to our attention after the first planning meeting. We as a community would like to see this added to the overlay prior to its adoption. To support this amendment, we've gathered over 200 signatures, which we'll provide to Charleston County, and we've also emailed this amendment to each of you here tonight. We respectfully request that this amendment be included in the overlay to ensure that the pace of future development allow the community to absorb rising property taxes within the historic district. We sincerely thank the Planning Commission, County Council, and staff for the continued support and recognizing the importance of community-driven planning. Thank you all.
James Black, and then Kyle Taylor.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is James Black. I've reviewed the 10 Mile overlay, and I do have a couple concerns about some of the items in the overlay. First, I have a concern about the mandatory pedestrian ways for the development of 3 or more lots. Having sidewalks installed intermittently throughout the neighborhood would be unappealing to me, and waiting on a county program to fill in gaps could be a long wait or may never take place. Second, I have a concern about the proposed 1 to 1.25 width to depth ratio for dwelling restrictions. I believe this is overly limiting, especially for owners with narrow lots. It lowers their property values, reduces buildable space, pressures multi-story construction, and it also restricts additions to existing homes and contradicts the other zoning allowances. My third concern is the proposed rezoning of a residential interior property on Gadsdenville Road. Changing this from a residential S3 to a commercial lot could increase traffic, it could reduce property values, and it could disrupt the peaceful character of the community. Rezoning requests of this type could better be handled as individual applications to allow proper review and community input. Rezoning of this property to commercial use would also set precedents for future commercial rezoning inside the neighborhood. So those are my 3 points, so thank you for your time.
Bless you. Thank you.
Kyle Taylor, Robert White Sr.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Kyle Taylor, and I'll give my brief opinion on the substance of this matter, but I have more general comments. But in general, from what I can tell, it looks reasonably fair. There's maybe a few things I'd potentially amend slightly, and I'd be a little bit weary on lowering any density, and I'd be a little bit weary on the additional stormwater criteria, especially in light of some of the lower density that's involved. But I commend staff on the exceptional work that I can tell that they put into this application. But I have some general comments I'd like to deliver here tonight on overlay zoning districts. Overlay zoning districts are zoning regulations that are layered on top of base zoning, often focused on density, design, and architectural style. In theory, they're meant to guide planning and offer unique design guidelines, which can be helpful, can be unique to certain areas. In practice, though, I must say, they're often used to deter and delay development, discourage property use and investment, and in some cases, I must say, they can act, whether unintentionally or not, as a stealth form of anti-development preservation. And the ones who bear the cost of this, however, are not just builders and developers. They are the property owners, in some cases, whose land and homes and family assets can lose value under the weight of uncertainty and limitation. Overregulation discourages growth, often where it can make the most sense, infill areas that are already served by infrastructure. Layers of burdensome regulations create uncertainty and limit the potential use of property and reduce allowed density. And this results in reduced property attractiveness and in value, and in turn can harm an entire community, not just those that may be seeking to build. So I urge council and residents to consider and aim for zoning regulations that promote economic activity rather than shun it away. With this approach in mind, and opportunities for economic growth, which is what zoning is intended for.
Thank you very much.
Robert White Sr.
Thank you. Robert White Sr. I'm doing the best I can. I don't know if I'm in the criteria as far as the standards, if I'm correct or what. But I'm complaining about the sewer line going down Leaping Road. That's right by the old Berkeley Electric. And what happened, the road I'm complaining about is William Mazik Lane.
Mr. White, is this germane to the 10-mile overlay zoning district, or did you intend to sign up for public comments?
Public comment.
Yes, sir. So maybe we should hold you until then, because this is a public hearing on this specific overlay zoning district. So if you just hold a minute, we'll call you back up.
Oh.
Anyone else?
That's it.
All right. 1C, discharge of firearms in unincorporated Charleston County.
Notice is hereby given that Charleston County Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, October 14th at 6:30 p.m. regarding an ordinance adding a new section 14.5-2 to the Charleston County Code of Ordinances so as to prohibit and make unlawful the careless or negligent discharge of firearms in certain unincorporated areas of the county, to provide the penalty pertaining to such violations, and to provide certain exceptions and limitations thereto.
Anyone signed up? All right. 1D, lease of 5,200 Kiowa River Drive property to St. John's Fire District.
This gentleman is.
Was it after the time? It was after. Okay. Thank you so much.
Notice is hereby given that Charleston County Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, prior to the final council action being taken to enter into a lease agreement for property owned by the county. The property in question is located at 5200 Kiowa River Drive on Johns Island, and county council is considering a lease agreement with the St. John's Fire District.
Anyone signed up? All right, 1E, financial incentives for Eaton Aerospace FKA Project Modern.
A public hearing shall be held by the County Council of Charleston County beginning at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, October 14th, before final approval of an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of tax agreement by and between Charleston County and Eaton Aerospace, LLC.
Anyone signed up? All right, public comments?
Do you want to start with Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. White? Robert White?
So bear with me, please. I'm in the old folks club, so do the best I can. Okay, on the tie-in on Lebanon Road. Okay, Lebanon Road is by the old Berkeley Co-op. Used to, electric plant used to be there. Lebanon Road runs east-west. Okay, the road I'm complaining about is William Bazik Lane, running south-north, behind the fence up at the old Berkeley Co-op. What it is, we have to tie in to on Lebanon Road, but the houses that where we live, to tie in is more or less impossible for from the arrangement. I don't know if it's enough house. Got to have more houses to be there for them to run an 8-inch line down the road. I don't know, but the way it is, they ain't doing me no favor. If all of us got to tie in and dig ourselves to come down to tie in, it's impossible. I ain't saying it can't be done, but I'm saying it's impossible. That's suicide asking somebody to do that. I don't know what's the criteria for the standards. I don't know, but from construction, being a contractor, different thing, that's sort of rough.
And this is for...
Okay, William Bazik Lane.
Right, and so you're talking about sewer, or you're trying to tie in...
You got to tie into the sewer, yeah. You got to dig, wherever you live at, you got to dig and tie in. But then again, you got to use a backhoe to dig to put the thing down. If it's a shovel with the water, I could try to I can live with it, but that's sewer sort of rough.
All right, Mr. Administrator, just take note of that, and we can talk about it to see what can happen.
I did take the complaint to Mount Pleasant Waterworks, but this seems as though they couldn't do nothing about it. I don't know whether there wasn't enough home on there for that to happen or what. I don't know.
We will talk about it and try to get back with you based on what we discover.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, the next person is Harvey Bennett, followed by Robert Fields.
My name's Harvey Bennett, North Charleston. On October 3rd of this year, Alameda County, California, became the first county in the United States to adopt an ethical investment policy that bars the county from investing public funds in corporations complicit in severe human rights violations as outlined by international law. At a recent meeting of this council, during public comments related to the Elbit plant FILO contract and possibility of rescinding same, a speaker argued that if that were to happen, no company would be willing to come to Charleston County because, in their words, this time it's an Israeli company. What country would it be next time? Well, my purpose this evening is not to single out Israel, but the hope that Charleston County would indeed not provide public funds to any corporation complicit in severe violations of human rights under international law perpetrated by any country. I strongly urge the Council to give due consideration to adopting an investment policy similar to that of Alameda County, which would ensure that the county is protected from both the legal and moral consequences for complicity in the violation of international human rights law. Thank you.
Next is Robert Fields and then Ross Whitfield.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Robert Fields. First, want to thank Chairman Middleton and Councilman Wehrman for their moral support in this issue with Elbit out of SC. For those of you who don't know, this is a subsidiary of an Israeli weapons manufacturer that is currently contributing to the genocidal war machine that is the conflict in Gaza. I strongly implore you to ask yourselves, how much does a dollar cost? Does it cost, your soul, your morality, et cetera, et cetera? We understand that these people have rights. They have a right to sovereignty. I actually came across a video the other day where a Palestinian middle school teacher actually taught his students to harmonize to the constant sound of whirring drones that are manufactured by a company that is right down the street from me, a company that has caused public schools funding to be cut in order for it to be housed here. And I vehemently oppose this issue. And I'm here to stand up for this. I am not complicit in genocide. And, to be honest, I'm ashamed to be a part of a nation who is complicit in these international war crimes as detailed by the United Nations. Thank you.
Ross Whitfield, Colin Holloway.
Good evening. I'm here to actually discuss some of the same that they were discussing. I'm new to the area. I'm going to be purchasing a home here soon. Been working here for a couple of months, and this group opened my eyes to the fact that we're allowing companies, as they say, that they work with terrorist actors. Multiple countries that basically it's where terrorists go to purchase weapons. And this company here is providing those weapons. There is clearly, as you stated, a genocide going on in Gaza. It's kind of hard to believe that everybody around here, I'm from Massachusetts originally, there's quite a few Christians up there, but not nearly as many as I've found down here, that they would be willing to allow that to happen. I also was a little curious, too, to see how many of the members here that might possibly have stock purchased from said company, Elbit. I guess we'd have to go through the financial records. I assume that you guys all supply that. Yes, no? Okay. I'll look into it. Again, I'm new here. Name's Ross Whitfield. You'll see me more. And hopefully you guys kind of think about this a little bit and try to decide whether or not that little bit of extra money is worth the lives of innocent children, women, men, women just trying to live their life. Do you really want these kind of people as your neighbors? Selling those kind of weapons? Allowing these things to happen? So, I guess think about it. Thank you.
Colin Holloway, Chris Newkirk.
Hello, my name's Colin Holloway. So I'm here to also share my concerns about Elbit existing in our community here. I'm very concerned about having a company that is funding and sending weapons to a genocidal government who is wiping out entire families of women and children and men who have done nothing wrong except just being born in the wrong piece of land. And I just have to ask, where is our humanity as this community if we're going to allow these people, this company, to stay here and take our tax dollars? Every day that they are open here, there's blood on our hands. All of us, the taxpayers that are funding this, and anyone that allows these people to stay open here. So I think we need to really examine our morals if we are going to allow them to stay in our community. I'm going to end right there.
Chris Newhard, Jonathan Whiting.
Thank you all very much. I'm Christopher Newhard. We are joined tonight by the Gullah Geechee. So in addition to echoing the voices of Palestinians who have faced Elbit's greed, I will also include quotes I was privileged enough to hear from the Gullah Geechee community. As I read these out and put them into the permanent public record, remember the following. Charleston County gave Elbit millions of dollars worth of tax breaks to help cause this, and that the systems that oppress Palestinians share the same root with the systems that oppress our neighbors. Until those cannons are silenced, these voices will still be heard. Fear is natural, but there's something stronger than fear that drives me to stay here. The scent of my ancestors and an attachment dating back hundreds of years. This is a place that you feel still has a soul, and that is because it hasn't been turned into everywhere else. We are very worried about what long-term effects this pollution will have on our future. They keep trying to get us to sell our land that we spent generations living on. They'll say all manner of things to get us to give away our land, but they never follow through with it. Whenever we sell our land, there's even less space for us. I remember we used to be able to farm in this area without even using pesticides. Now, if we don't use pesticides to ward off the bugs and mosquitoes in our area, our crops won't survive. To come here and visit my family from time to time, it really touches your heart. It also saddens you to see what's happening. The occupation does not stop if you are dead. They keep us from being buried. When my mother died, she wanted to rest next to my father, but we had to cross a checkpoint. They never let the dead cross. They always harassed them. We had to dress my mother up and lay her in the back seat of the car like she was sleeping to get her through. So if I want to go see my mom back there, I have to talk to you. I'm not a child. And since I'm running low on time, I'll finish off on this last one, which is not from a Palestinian or Gullah Geechee, but is from someone on this council. It says that...
Thank you.
Jonathan Whiting, Emily Whiting.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Whiting from St. Paul's Parish, Highway 174, and here to address the restriction of firearms discharge in the unincorporated parts of Charleston County. In this proposed here for the hearing, it talks about to make unlawful the careless and neglect discharge of firearms in the unincorporated parts of the county. I do not know of an area where it is lawful to negligently discharge a firearm. You negligently discharge a firearm, particularly cause damage to somebody, that is a citable and possibly arrestable offense. So I don't see this law as doing any benefit. We in the unincorporated parts of the county, we come out there and we live out there for the purpose of being able to do things like being able to shoot our own property. We need to be able to shoot our own property because I need to be able to protect my livestock from the coyotes that are out there. I need to be able to be able to protect my livestock. I need to be able to teach my son and my daughter how to shoot. We need to have community camaraderie with our friends and family members where we get together and we recreationally shoot. Negligently shooting in any way is already illegal. And I am sure we can ask our public servants in uniform over here, and they can tell you that. I'm willing to bet you some of the old timers, I can tell you how many times they've had to give that citation and arrest people for it. This is an unnecessary law that is just meant to restrict further people who live in the area. Thank you.
Emily Whiting.
Hello. I urge you strongly to vote against any restrictions and limitations on the discharge of firearms anywhere in this county. I live in the unincorporated rural part of the county. It's my husband. And I don't mind hearing gunshots. It is reassuring to know that our neighbors have guns and have been training with them. That is a deterrent to any gangs and thieves who might be around, and it is much better than any neighborhood watch program. And I don't mind the noise because it's like the fireworks on Independence Day. It's a reminder that we are free. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our Public Information Officer, Chloe Field, will lead us, in the Pledge of Allegiance after our prayer from Chaplain Roy Gould from the Coastal Crisis Chaplaincy.
Would you join me in prayer? Almighty God, I pray for this council meeting tonight. Give each council member wisdom and guidance as they deliberate on the items that is before them. May every decision be righteous in your sight for our benefit and for your glory. Remind us that we serve one Lord, one Spirit, one hope, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of us all. So may you guide us in our heart with one mind, united in one holy bonds of truth and peace, and love through faith. And we ask it all. In your name we pray. Amen. Let us. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Freedom of Information Act.
In compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, notice of meetings and agendas were distributed to news media and persons requesting notification.
Item 2, minutes from probably moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Item 3, third reading of ordinances. 3A, financial incentives for Eaton Aerospace LLC, FKA Project Modern.
An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of tax agreement by and between Charleston County and an entity and Eaton Aerospace LLC, including any related or affiliated entities and any sponsor affiliates, whereby Charleston County will enter into a fee in lieu of taxes arrangement with Eaton Aerospace LLC, providing for payment by Eaton Aerospace LLC of certain fees in lieu of ad valorem taxes, providing for certain special source revenue or infrastructure credits, providing for the allocation of fee in lieu of taxes paid by Eaton Aerospace LLC under the agreement for establishment of multi-county industrial business park and other matters relating thereto. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby?
No, not. No.
Mrs. Honeycutt? Oh, absent. Absent. Mr. Kabrowski?
Nay.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
Mr. Sass?
Aye.
Mr. Werman? Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance passes third reading with 5 ayes, 3 nays, and 1 absent.
3B, discharge of firearms in urban unincorporated Charleston County.
An ordinance adding a new section 14.5-2 to the Charleston County Code of Ordinances so as to prohibit and make unlawful the careless or negligent discharge of firearms in certain unincorporated areas of the county, to provide the penalty pertaining to such violations, and to provide certain exceptions and limitations thereto. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby?
Aye.
Mrs. Honeycutt?
Aye.
Mr. Kabrowski?
Aye.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
Mr. Sass?
Aye.
Mr. Werman? Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance passes third reading with 9 ayes.
3C, amendments to the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance, ZLDR.
An ordinance amending the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance number 1202 as amended at the following document location, chapters 3, 4, 8, 9, 11, and 12. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby?
Aye.
Mrs. Honeycutt? Mr. Kabrowski?
Aye.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
Mr. Sass?
Aye.
Mr. Werman?
Aye.
Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance passes third reading with 9 ayes.
Item 4, second readings. 4A, environmentally acceptable packaging and products ordinance amendments.
An ordinance regulating the use of single-use plastic carryout bags, plastic straws, and polystyrene, plastic foam products, and promoting the use of reusable carryout bags and recyclable paper carryout bags and other matters relating thereto. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby? Mrs. Honeycutt?
Aye.
Mr. Kabrowski?
Aye.
Mr. Moody?
Nay.
Mr. Pryor? Mr. Sass?
Aye.
Mr. Werman?
Aye.
Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance passes second reading with 7 ayes and 2 nays.
4C, financial incentives for Keel FKA Project
Isn't
Flare.
it 4B?
4B.
4B, I'm sorry,
Yes, sir.
emergency preparedness ordinance amendments.
An ordinance amending Chapter 7, Emergency Preparedness of the Charleston County Code of Ordinances. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby? Mrs. Honeycutt?
Aye.
Mr. Kabrowski?
Aye.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
Mr. Sass? Mr. Werman? Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance passes second reading with 9 ayes.
Financial incentives for,
Chairman?
oh, yes,
Can I have the discussion on this before we vote on 4C?
on 4C.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so let us hear first, financial
Yes, sir.
incentives
Yes,
for
Chairman.
Keel FKA Project Flare.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Chairman, just for the record, this item is listed on the agenda as financial incentives for Keel. You'll hear me say Metal Trades in the ordinance title. Metal Trades is a subsidiary of Keel, and the incentives are being offered to Metal Trades.
Metal Trades.
Yes, sir. An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of an amendment to a fee in lieu of tax agreement by and between Charleston County, South Carolina, and Metal Trades LLC, formerly identified as Project Flare, extending the investment period of such agreement, authorizing additional special source revenue credits to be provided to the company, and other matters related thereto.
Mr. Kurowski?
Chairman, I just want to say that I and many people in the county just got their tax bills for their homes and their businesses. And again, I just want to say, I'm sure this is a worthy company and does great things, but every reason that I hear to give a financial incentive to one company would apply to all of us who work for ourselves or own a business, own a home, or pay taxes in a grocery store and sales taxes. And I don't know how, as a government entity, we can pick and choose whose livelihood is more important than anybody else, and everybody goes out to work, and they can lose their homes as their property taxes go home, and their business taxes, and if they own buildings where they work, and for their business, it's a real burden. And I don't, every argument that would apply to giving it to this company apply to all of us who work for a living or work for people who own a business. And I don't understand how we can deem that it's dispiriting when you work and you own a business to have some people pay taxes, or some people don't. Some people get benefits that others don't. I would prefer to give the same tax incentives and lower the taxes for everyone. I'm glad that we've named the company. It's not any slight on what they do, but I'm sure it's a fine company, and all the incentive reasons that we are given would apply to all of us. And for that reason, I would say no to this and the other ones.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Kabrowski, this is in my district. It's down in Young's Island. This company is making a substantial tens of millions of dollars investment in capital expenditures to expand the facility down there. This is going to bring hundreds of jobs to the area. It's a very rural area. Some of it's very impoverished. Notwithstanding all of that, this company, which I went and met with them and toured the facility, makes subcomponents for our aircraft carriers, our ballistic submarines, and our fast attack submarines that they send to Newport News and Groton to be further assembled. That's our front line of national defense. I think it's fair for you, as you say, to take each one of these cases on its own merit. But, you know, I don't see how you could oppose something like that it could be critical to our national defense and, you know, good for the community down there. But I just disagree with you, sir. Sorry.
All right, roll call vote.
Yes, sir. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby?
Aye.
Mrs. Honeycutt? Aye. Mr. Kabrowski?
Nay.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
Mr. Sass?
Aye.
Mr. Werman?
Aye.
Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance passes second reading with 8 ayes and 1 nay.
4D ZREZ 0725000165, 4301 River Road rezoning.
Yes, sir. An ordinance rezoning the real property located at 4301 River Road, parcel identification number 25900000123, from the agricultural residential AGR zoning district to the rural agricultural AG8 zoning district. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby?
Aye.
Mrs. Honeycutt?
Aye.
Mr. Kabrowski?
Aye.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
Mr. Sass?
Aye.
Mr. Werman? Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance passes second reading with 9 ayes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Move for committee recommendations 5A through G.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Consent agenda, item 6.
Move for approval A through D.
I'd like a discussion on 6A.
All right, let us take 6B, C, and D. If you can amend that to,
Second.
all right, properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposers, nay. The ayes have it.
Move for approval 6A.
6A, all right, properly moved and seconded. All those in, Mr. Kabrowski.
This, I'd like to address this issue. To me, this is the same as the financial incentives. We gave, as I understand it, you know, this would be $650,000. I'd ask the staff, the library, that's about how much we'd spend. And then with the $4.2 million we've already spent, and this would be almost $5 million for bonuses for many people who got a 3% increase, and we gave an increase substantially. And my point on this one, if the $650,000 was given to the library as part of their budget, I'd have to ask, what part of their budget did they no longer need this for? Why was it necessary then? And I'd feel that, again, they give bonuses to county employees. This is something that people in private industry who work for ourselves, we can't take other people's money and give our people bonuses. We would do the same. It has to come out of our pockets. It's easy to treat the money like monopoly money and give bonuses out of other people's money. If we have $4.8 million that's left over, I would suggest, when I made the motion before, to lower the millage rate or give it the common things like drainage or hurricane preparedness. And that many people struggle to pay their tax bills. And it's the same thing as the incentives. If people that struggle and have to pay their tax on their homes, their sales tax, and people who have their own businesses, we can't just give bonuses unless we take it out of our pocket. We don't have a pot that do that in. If this is excess money that was there in the budget that's not needed, let's give it back to the people who put it in there. The money doesn't belong to us personally. We don't feel the pain of taking it from those taxpayers and giving it as bonuses to people who are being paid to do a job. And as I always say, when you work on your own, you never know whether you're going to make it from week to week. And if you work for somebody, that businesses go out. People who work for the library, the county, are going to get paid. The sun comes up and the sun goes down. And I just feel we should give this back if it's extra money that wasn't needed in the budget. And we did pay people. It's an extra way of a backdoor pay increase. If we're going to do that, we ought to do it up front and not for money that is left over. But I respect the differences on this, but that's how I feel. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Boykin.
Mr. Kabrowski, the employees over at the Charleston County Library are county employees. The difference is they have their own board of directors that are over them. We've approved their budget. This, as I understand it, are funds that came about due primarily to lapsed salary. That's how it happened. They didn't just find money. They didn't, over budget and have this money laying around. But nonetheless, it now is fund balance. I think they're just trying to keep parity with our other county employees to offer the same to their employees. And so I don't have a problem with it. It's one-time payment. And, I think they should be treated the same as all other county employees. I'm sorry you see it differently.
All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. All right, the ayes have it. Item 7A.
Move for approval.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Pryor.
Tonight, sir, my head is hurting. I just want to, all this stuff going on tonight, I got to take an Excedrin or something. I normally don't take anything, but tonight, with some of the comments, I just can't take it much more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pryor. I can definitely resonate. Mr. Boykin?
None for me, sir.
Thank you so much. Mr. Werriman?
Nothing from me.
Thank you so much. Mr. Moody?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple things. I agree with Mr. Pryor. I think it's bad football going on last night too. It may have got you started down this road, but
Oh, I was happy until I got there.
That being said, I want to thank this council. We had a gentleman, lady that made some comments about the firearms. I want to make sure that everybody knows that this was crafted specifically to target our urban areas, that we really tried to craft this thing to avoid any impacts to rural areas. So I think it's a smart, common sense public safety approach, and I'm always big on plugging holes where the three municipalities, as y'all know, that Mount Pleasant, Charleston, North Charleston, none of them allow gunfire, no exceptions. And so the county is coming in and plugging these holes, especially in the urban areas. So I think it's a common sense approach. I did hear a comment on the 10-mile overlay, and I've been critical of moratoriums, but these overlays are a little bit different, and I consider them. One gentleman made a comment about the loss of value, the impairments. I agree with him. I agree with everything he said. But what I do disagree with him is the citizens have put this together. If they want to impair their land, if they want to reduce their marketability of their land, if they want to do whatever they want with their land, then God love them, let them have it. So, this council doing something in their name, I'm going to fight that every time. But the citizens coming forward and putting this together and working with our staff, let them have it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Darby?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I must say that Mr. Kowalski is a very contemplative, intelligent human being. He has caused me to pause about the fee in lieu of taxes. I think this council really needs to analyze what we're doing with this. As an example, Eaton. And I wish I had enough time to do empirical research, but Eaton in terms of the amount of money that it owns or has, and its coffers is $147.73 billion. Why would a company with that kind of revenue want to come here to get a tax break, and we just blindly say yes to that? $147 billion. And we're talking about jobs and things of that nature, but again, this is something I would have to study. I'm not understanding that. Yeah, we say to bring in jobs, but the more jobs that we get in this county, it seems that the poor people get. I don't see people doing any better than they were 15, 20, 25 years ago, but we keep saying to bring about jobs. I really don't see this. So I'm, for one, we're going to start scrutinizing. I'm not saying in a negative manner, but to really study the issue when they have this type of revenue, and then we are going to limit the tax dollars that we're going to place them 20, 25, and 30 years. It's just astronomical in terms of what we're doing with the fee and lieu taxes. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Sass?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Ms. Honeycutt?
Nothing for me.
Vice Chair Kabrowski?
Well, I just, we heard comments again tonight, and I just would like to quote Ecclesiastic: there's a time for war and time for peace, a time to kill and a time for mercy. I would hope with the peace there would have been something that contemplate that the killing has stopped and not the evilness of one side or the other, that there be some satisfaction and the notion that the killing was stopped and that hostages who saw their children, babies, cut up in pieces and their wives raped in front of them and held under the ground for 2 years are now reunited with their family. And hopefully that can change feelings and minds. And I'd like to thank President Trump, however you feel about him, that couldn't have happened without him, and that there's less killing now than there was before he did that. And with the financial incentives, I thank Councilman Darby for the reason for it. And I just would ask us, I realize it's unpopular in the majority in this room, but I can assure you, if you talk to people in the county who got their tax bills for their homes and businesses, it is very stressful, and sometimes you don't know if you can pay that. People who, and maybe more in my district, who have lived here for a long time, their homes have gone up tremendously in value, and even though there's a cap, it doesn't mean you have any more money to pay it. And when you own businesses, you get taxed even higher. And it's no disrespect to the companies involved. Councilman Boykin talked about the worth of the company, and I'm sure they're doing great things for our national defense, but it's an awesome power to have taxation power over to take money from people and then to say that some people's livelihoods are worth more than others. Either tax everybody the same, or if it's good to reduce it for the goose, reduce it for the gander, and reduce the tax burden on all of us, and we could use our money more wisely to support our families and our businesses. Thank you.
Ms. Attorney, Madam Attorney, Mr. Administrator?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
I would just like to point out or note the Transportation Sales Tax Public Outreach Update. Staff and TST consultants have officially kicked off the TST public input process. Their first step is presenting to cities and town councils throughout the county to ensure those stakeholders are informed, engaged, and well-positioned to submit their priorities by December 1st. As a reminder, the TST information, including a survey and meeting schedule, can be found at www.charlestontransportation.com. The survey went live yesterday, and an official announcement was made available today. And so wanted to at least remind council this is where we are, at least in that process, and we look forward to all of you engaging. Certainly, I believe that based on the municipalities and areas that the consultants will be engaging, you will be invited so that if it's in your area or even across the county, you're more than welcome to participate as you have time to do. Good evening.
That is exactly what